Welcome to the Explainer. Upgrading a factory floor or modernizing a commercial fleet is incredibly expensive. But it turns out there's actually a way to step up to advanced industrial machinery without completely draining your working capital. So today we're demystifying the equipment funding stack to see exactly how smart operators are fueling their growth.
Okay, let's dive into this. 787,000. That is the massive scale of Ontario's manufacturing workforce right now. Spread across more than 12,000 establishments, these workers are literally the backbone of the provincial economy. If you're watching this, you're part of an enormous, thriving ecosystem.
And the economic stakes of this ecosystem, honestly, they're staggering. Ontario sees about $315 billion in annual manufacturing shipments. But to protect and grow that massive output against global competition, businesses absolutely have to invest in cutting-edge tech. The cost of modernizing this sector is high. That's why understanding how to properly fund it is, for sure, the most valuable skill a business owner can have right now.
So here's our roadmap for the Explainer today. We'll start with Ontario's manufacturing equipment boom, then explore grants and tax credits, unpack the power of leasing, review term loans and financing, and finally, show you how to build your own funding stack. All right, let's jump in. Section 1. Ontario's manufacturing equipment boom.
Moving right along to Section 2, grants and tax credits. This is the foundation.
We're starting here for a pretty simple reason. It's the closest thing you're going to find to free money. Let's just cut through the financial jargon right away. A non-repayable grant is government or industry funding that your business simply doesn't need to pay back. It's almost always used to cost share specific projects, meaning you put in a portion and the grant covers the rest. This is pure fuel for your growth engine.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how wide a variety of grants are actually out there for you. You've got the CME SMART program, which offers a 50% cost share, up to $100,000 for lean and automation planning. It's incredibly fast, too, often approved in just 4 to 8 weeks. For the heavier lifting, there's NRC IRAP, providing up to $1 million non-repayable for projects facing technological uncertainty. Then you have the NGen Supercluster for huge consortium projects, and OVEN, which specifically targets the shift to electric and autonomous vehicle tech. Basically, there's a specific grant for almost every strategic move you'd want to make.
Now, let's bust another acronym, SR indeed. The Scientific Research and Experimental Development Program is a massive federal tax incentive. If you're a Canadian-controlled private corporation, it provides a 35% or fundable tax credit on eligible R&D work. But here's why this is a real game changer. It's retroactive for up to 18 months. Countless manufacturers leave this money on the table simply because they don't realize their everyday engineering problem-solving actually qualifies as R&D. It's absolutely crucial to understand the difference between these tax credits. On one hand, if you combine federal SNRD with the provincial Ontario Innovation Tax Credit, or OITC, you're looking at a staggering 43% combined return on your R&D expenses. That covers your time, materials, and problem solving. On the other hand, contrast that with the Ontario-made Manufacturing Investment Tax Credit. That one gives you a straight 10% credit specifically for capital equipment purchases. So one rewards the process of innovation, while the other rewards the actual physical machinery you buy. Okay, Section 3, the power of leasing. We call this the flex layer. You see, grants take time to get approved, but sometimes you need machinery on the floor tomorrow, right? That's where leasing becomes your flex layer. And what exactly are manufacturers leasing? We're talking about high-value, specialized assets. Things like 5-axis CNC machining centers that deliver precision cuts, robotic work cells and palletizers that help solve labor shortages, high-volume injection molding presses, and even commercial logistics vehicles like GM truck fleets and cargo vans to move your products down the 401. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is the distinct strategic advantage of each lease type. With an operating lease, you're essentially renting the equipment for a fixed term, maybe 36 to 60 months. The finance company takes on the risk of the machine becoming obsolete, and you can just upgrade to the newest tech when your term ends. A finance lease, though, is all about building equity. It acts a lot more like a loan, blending predictable payments with the ultimate goal of full ownership through a nominal buyout at the end. Moving into Section 4, term loans and financing. This is the muscle. When your goal is outright ownership and permanent facility upgrades, you activate the muscle of your funding stack. But first, we need to make a really crucial distinction, because there's a common myth out there that all government support is a grant. A true non-repayable grant is free money.
But programs like the FedDev Ontario Business Scale-Up and Productivity Program, or BSP, while they are incredibly useful and interest-free during the project, the FedDev BSP is a conditionally repayable loan, meaning if your project succeeds, you do have to pay it back. Knowing this difference is just vital for your cash flow projections.
Let's break down the alternative financing mechanisms at your disposal. Standard term loans can cover anywhere from 70 to 100% of a machine's purchase price. The CSBFP is a phenomenal government-backed loan through your bank for up to $1.15 million. But consider these last two: sale-leaseback and invoice factoring. If you already own late-model machines outright, a sale-leaseback lets you sell them to a lender and lease them right back. This instantly unlocks hundreds of thousands in liquid cash. And invoice factoring? That can advance you up to 95% of an invoice within 24 hours. Both are incredibly fast ways to generate working capital for an equipment deposit without waiting around for an approval committee. Finally, Section 5, building your funding stack. Let's move to and see how this builds in a real-world scenario. Smart Ontario businesses don't just use one of these tools. They stack them for massive returns on investment. Imagine a 75-employee precision parts shop in Kitchener. They're making an $800,000 investment in a new CNC production cell. Look at how they chop that cost down. They grab $40,000 from CME Smart for planning, $180,000 from IRAP for R&D on the inspection system. They retroactively claim $64,500 through SR&ED and OITC on their unfunded R&D. They get a $40,000 Ontario-made tax credit on the equipment itself. Plus, they use $30,000 from CAN Export to find buyers in the EU and another $15,000 from MyTax for graduate student research.
The final impact here is just absolutely staggering. Out of that $800,000 total cost, stacking these independent programs correctly resulted in $369,500 in total government recovery. That is a 46.2% recovery rate. And the crucial takeaway here? There are zero repayable loan components in this stack. By strategically targeting different cost categories, like planning, R&D, capital, and export, they kept their total assistance below government caps while saving well over $350,000.
But hey, a quick word of warning on timing from the experts. Coordinate your financing so that loan or lease draws occur immediately after grant approvals, avoiding cash flow mismatches. Most grants require pre-approval before you spend a single dime. If you overextend your working capital, buying the machine while you're waiting for the government paperwork to clear, you could literally put your entire operation at risk. So get the grant approved first, then trigger your lease or loan.
So what should you actually do today? Well, here are 3 concrete, actionable steps to start your own equipment acquisition journey. Step 1, audit your needs. Go walk your floor, identify utilization gaps, and quantify the exact gains you expect from new equipment. Step 2, build your package. Compile your financial statements, get exact equipment quotes, and map out your ROI projections. Step 3, compare offers. Don't just take the first term loan your bank throws at you. Pit leases against term loans, explore vendor financing, and look into a sale-leaseback if you need immediate cash.
Which brings us to our final thought. The money and the mechanisms are out there right now to power your growth. Whether you're a food processor in Wealth, an auto supplier in Windsor, or a custom fabricator in Toronto, by combining non-repayable grants, strategic tax credits, and flexible leases, you can scale your operations faster and safer than ever before. So the only question left to ask yourself is, what will your funding stack look like? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.